7 p.m. here in the City Council chambers for the regular meeting of the City Council on Monday, August 21st. I'll call the meeting to order and entertain the roll call.
Beaufore. Here. Birgen.
Here I am.
Meyers.
Here.
Rathe.
Here.
Schneider.
Here.
Drenkow is absent, and Kangas will be late.
Thank you very much and welcome back, President Ertzman. Missed you the last time I was out of town, so welcome back. We'll rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Move into Section D, approval of the agenda. Entertain a motion to do so.
I'll move approval of the agenda as presented.
Second.
Motion by Birgen, second by Meyers. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. Section E is the approval of the minutes. Entertain a motion.
I'll move approval of the August 7th, 2023 regular meeting minutes.
Second.
Motion by Rathe, second by Birgen. Council discussion, if any. Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. Section F, got a proclamation for National Rail Safety Week. I'll go ahead and read the proclamation as presented by the railsafetyweek.org. So National Rail Safety Week, whereas Rail Safety Week is to be held across the U.S. from September 18th to 24th, 2023, whereas 2,194 rail grade crossing collisions resulted in 803 personal injuries and were responsible for 274 fatalities in the United States during 2022. And whereas 1,208 pedestrian trespassing casualties have occurred in the United States, resulting in 658 pedestrians being killed and another 550 injured while trespassing on railway property rights-of-way during 2022. And whereas educating and informing the public about rail safety, reminding the public that railroad right-of-ways are private property, enhancing public awareness of the dangers associated with highway rail grade crossings, ensuring pedestrians and motorists are looking and listening while near railways and obeying established traffic laws will reduce the number of avoidable fatalities and injuries caused by incidents involving trains and citizens. And whereas the International Association of Chiefs of Police, National Operation Lifesaver, United States Department of Transportation, and all local, state, county, and railroad law enforcement officers, first responders, and railroad corporations commit to partnering together in an effort to educate at a national level all aspects of railroad safety to enforce applicable laws in support of National Rail Safety Week. Therefore, I, Adam P. Hoffman, Mayor, and the City Council of the City of Waverly, Iowa, hereby attest our full support proclaiming September 18th through 24th, 2023 as National Rail Safety Week, and we encourage all citizens to recognize the importance of rail safety education. Entertain a motion.
I'll move approval of the proclamation proclaiming September 18th to 24th, 2023 as National Rail Safety Week.
Second.
Motion by Meyers, second by Rathe. Council discussion. If any, I'll make a note. I know that we've had some grade improvements for pedestrians, in particular right by Crystal Plumbing. There's some miniature signage, across Buck for pedestrians with the bike trail going through there. We've got tons of crossings. Some are better crossing grades as far as markings and cross arms and stuff, but we need to always pay attention and keep out of their right-of-ways as well. So with that, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. Brings us to next section up, Section G, public comments for items not on the agenda. Don't see anybody rising to the occasion, so we'll move forward to the consent calendar. 5 items this evening. Item 1 is a pay request from McClure Engineering for the Waverly Reconstruct Taxiway Connector for $5,825.57. Item 2 is a pay request from McClure Engineering for the Waverly Reconstruct South T-Hangar Taxilanes CA services for the amount of $4,063.18. Item 3 is a pay request from Lodge Construction Incorporated for the 10th Avenue Southwest Trail Extension for the amount of $30,898.72. Item 4 is a special Class C retail alcohol license renewal application for Chillax. And item 5 is the cash disbursements for July 2023. Entertain a motion to approve.
I will move.
I'll move to approve the consent calendar as read by the mayor.
Second.
Motion by Schneider, second by Birgen. Council discussion, if any? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, the same. Motion carries. Brings us to Section K, regular business. Item number 1, Resolution 23-126, a resolution confirming the award of contract, plan specification, and not to exceed costs for the Waverly Public Library Room for Renewal Phase Children's Story Tree Metal Art Sculpture to Ironclad Art of West Des Moines, Iowa. Entertain a motion.
I will move approval of Resolution 23-126, a resolution confirming the award of contract plan specification and not to exceed costs of $145,000 for the Waverly Public Library Room for Renewal Phase Children's Story Tree Metal Art Sculpture to Ironclad Art of West Des Moines, Iowa.
Second.
Motion by Birgen, second by Rathe. Council discussion, if any? We have our library director, Sarah, just for the record, is in attendance tonight.
I'm assuming our lawyers looked this over. Okay.
Hearing nothing further, roll call, Carla.
Beaufore,
Yes.
Bergen.
Yes.
Myers.
Yes.
Rathe.
Yes.
Schneider.
Yes.
On a vote of 5-0 with 2 absent, Resolution 23-126 is approved. Brings us to item 2, Resolution 23-131, approving a possible extension to the Bremer County Fair lease agreement. Entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve Resolution 23-131, approving a possible extension to the Bremer County Fair lease agreement.
Second.
Motion by Schneider, second by Beaufort. Council discussion. I think I'll kick this off. I was talking to James in his office a month and a half ago, somewhere in there. And it was lead up to the fair, so maybe not that far ago. But anyway, I just prefaced that they're making progress out at the fairgrounds with their building and everything. But our delay in doing something with Memorial Park, it probably wouldn't hurt us to go ahead and get this off of everybody's agenda for a discussion point in the future, and at least offer to them that extension that they're probably going to, come after or request in the future. I know that it was going to come up in October for consideration. So basically, this would put it out there that if they need it, they've got it, so that they can start planning ahead for next year. Mr. Bronner, do you have anything to add?
I do not. I know they've made some progress out there, as you said. The building is up. I think it's the swine building. There's plans for other buildings, but I know there was some discussion. Garrett and I were out at Memorial Park, and a little bit more damage this year than we would like to have seen to the infields and the fields for flag football, and it was substantial, and it was unfortunate. But as you stated, we really do not have an avenue to start anything next summer due to the state's decisions to hold off on our resolutions for referendum. So it certainly will not put us out any to have it there one more year, but this will have to be the last and final year, no matter what, because we will be moving forward, I hope, in the future. But again, it's council's purview if you'd like to do that or not. So,
Have we received any updates about their progress out there?
I don't have anything. No.
Okay.
We could still have them come in at a study session to update that and maybe make that formal request, but this sets the groundwork that if they make that request, that's the possible extension there, that we've already authorized that going forward. That's the way that I read it.
So we don't
anyway.
know positively if they will need this extension. It's just we're getting
I
it out
assume
there.
they're going to.
Right.
They don't have all their buildings up, but again, we don't have a formal request from them per se.
They've been informed that I was bringing this forward, so they knew that it was there, so.
So just for clarification, as I read it, it seems like if we pass this, we're saying that we are granting them a possible extension, but then it doesn't give any timelines or anything like that. So is this basically just saying,
The
come
1
and
year.
get it? and then we vote on the specifics when they come to get it?
I guess I wasn't sure why we needed this since they're supposed to come in October. Well, they've been supposed to come every quarter to give us updates on how things are going, but aren't they supposed to come to an upcoming meeting to give us a
In
more
October,
definitive?
I would believe that that's their intent,
I
so.
believe so.
So I figured we would be voting on it then, after we heard from them a more definitive timeline.
To be perfectly upfront with you, when I read the council packet and saw the notation of the October, item, that's, oh yeah, they are coming back. So that wasn't part of James and I's discussion, even between then. So, you don't have to act on it, you can make them come and do it. This basically, we're trying to turn the tables as, hey, we're not using it, we can go ahead and offer it to them if they need that extension. So.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to giving them an extension, but I think I feel more comfortable voting on a resolution if it's specific to what they
Perfectly
need. And so
understandable.
I think I'd like to hear from them about the progress they're making and what their prospective timeline is. I think we said the last time we discussed this that we just need to make sure that their extensions don't interfere with our plans for Memorial Park. And thanks to the legislature, things are a little bit delayed, so.
No interference, so.
Yep. So.
I just view it
No,
as-
I think it'd be helpful to just have them come in October and vote.
I just viewed it as an opportunity for us as partners between the city and the fair for us to, to approach them
Sure,
essentially
yeah, I
through
mean,
this, so.
I agree, it's good to have a partnership, but I also think it's important to be specific when we're voting on a resolution, so
Well, and they're coming in October, so it seems
Right.
like it's a duplication of effort.
yeah.
So I'm not quite sure what this is doing, if we're just gonna have to revisit it again in October.
Yeah.
So can we abstain from voting on this, or
I
table
think,
it
I think,
to?
in my opinion, your explanation of, with the understanding that it's coming back in October, a no vote is not saying no, it's saying no to this one, anticipating a visit to it in October. So,
I guess I have no objection to granting an extension, but I guess I echo what Dr. Rathe said. I don't really see the purpose here because there's not much specificity to it. And I would like to hear from them, if nothing
else,
Yeah.
else, than just to
Yeah.
get an update.
like I said, they were notified. I'm surprised nobody's here, actually.
Yeah, well, I'm sure they'll be here in October.
That's fine.
So,
Yeah, I mean, I think we're covered in the language of the resolution, the 22-158, that says we would consider further extension at our October meeting, so.
It could die for lack of interest. I mean, if you don't
That's-
have to vote.
Fine with me.
could we
Even after
table
it's
this
been
until
moved.
October 2nd?
You can, as long as you put that specific date in there.
Exactly.
And rewrite the resolution under the same number in October?
Why,
It would be a different resolution.
do we
Okay,
have
that's fine.
to, do we have to have the wording of the resolution before we hear from the Fair Board? Because if they come and propose 2 years and we only want 1 year,
So the thing is, resolutions are something we give for you for reference.
Right.
You can certainly make your own at any point in time. You don't even have to have resolutions as part of your agenda, just
Right.
a list of topics you're gonna discuss. You can make multiple resolutions of any shape or sort that you'd like to.
Right.
We just provide this as a reference of what we believe intent is, or of the individual coming to ask what they're asking you to do. But in the end, you write your own resolutions, and we'll
Okay.
adjust accordingly, so.
okay. So I would move that we table this till the October 2nd meeting.
That's certainly fine.
Under the new proposed resolution at that time.
Yeah, I
we-
mean, again, I think,
Otherwise, you have to come back to this.
well, then we can come back to that wording and we can amend it at the meeting, can't we? Or no?
Absolutely.
No?
You
No.
can change, this is just a proposal.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. You have to. Okay. Have a motion
So
to
what?
table?
I will second that.
Have a motion and a second to table. All in favor?
To October 2nd?
To
October
October
2nd.
2nd
Yeah.
as defined.
Yes.
Any further discussion?
If I'm correct with my Robert's rules, I think that when you table something, you have to have a date that you're tabling it to,
Right.
which is
Yeah.
why it's helpful to have a date in line.
Correct.
Okay. Evening. All in favor of that tabling, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. Moves us to item 3 under regular business. Resolution 23-127, resolution accepting dedication of public improvements, accepting the 4-year maintenance bond from Dave Schmidt Construction Company, releasing all remaining Bartles Lutheran Home pledges, assets held at First Bank of Waverly for the purpose of satisfying the performance and maintenance guarantees, and approving payment to Bartles Lutheran Retirement Community for construction of certain public improvements along Park Avenue that included street, water main, and sidewalk. Entertain a motion.
I'll move approval of Resolution 23-127, a resolution accepting dedication of public improvements, accepting the 4-year maintenance bond from Dave Schmidt Construction Company, releasing all remaining Bartles Lutheran Home pledges assets held at First Bank of Waverly for the purpose of satisfying the performance and maintenance guarantees, and approving payment to Bartles Lutheran Retirement Community in the amount of $38,382.76 for construction of certain public improvements along Park Avenue that included street, water main, and sidewalk.
Second.
Motion by Rathe, second by Birgen. Council discussion, if any?
So I have not had a chance to go drive on this road. Who has inspected it and found it to be to our specifications? Who? Awesome. Just want to make sure someone has checked it out.
So it's open on Park then? You can't get in there from the south?
Well, I think it's open some of the time, but not when there's construction going on.
Okay.
I think that's an issue that's going to be addressed now that it is formally under our jurisdiction.
Right,
Okay.
because once it
Okay.
becomes a city street dedicated,
Then
you
it
have
has
to
to be
have
open.
closure reasons for closing the street.
Okay. I tried to go look at it, but they had cones up on the southern entrance, and so I didn't think about going around.
Right, the public doesn't always think a lot when they're out there driving, and they're driving under bucket loads and things like that, and it got to be a hazard because
Sure.
people don't have any sense sometimes they drive, and everybody's so scared to go see it. They had to close it off for their own safety and the safety of others, and so that's why they were doing that. But since it's a city street, we will have to have that closure now, if necessary. But it was just to avoid people from getting hit
Yeah,
by
no,
trucks
that
and
makes
dump
sense.
trucks.
I obeyed the cones. I did not drive around the cones.
There's nothing to see out there. I mean, it's an open street, but it doesn't stop people from
Okay,
going.
but it's finished, going Park, going west. Okay.
Anything further? Hearing none, roll call, Carla.
Kangas,
Yes.
Meyers.
Yes.
Rathe.
Yes.
Schneider,
Yes.
Beaufore,
Yes.
and Birgen.
Yes.
Vote is 6-0 and 1 absent. Resolution 23-127 is approved. Item 4 is Resolution 23-128, a resolution approving a plat of survey for parcel BB and parcel CC located at parcel ID 09102266054, Waverly, Iowa. Entertain a motion.
I'll move approval of Resolution 23-128, a resolution approving a plat of survey for parcel BB and parcel CC located on parcel ID 09102266054, Waverly, Iowa.
Second.
Motion by Birgen, second by Rathe. Council discussion.
Could I have an explanation of why this is being divided into 2 lots?
So the developer has a purchaser for parcel CC, and potentially they do not want the rest of the parcel BB property because they don't need that much. So they are arranging for this division into 2 lots with a easement access for the parcel BB from 13th Avenue across the property.
So which side of the property will they have access to BB? On the west?
From the 13th Avenue cul-de-sac.
No, I
across-
know,
On the
but I mean, are they
on the
going to
west
go on
side.
the
On the
western
western
aspect of it?
Yeah. The west would be a
Okay.
shared drive coming into that property. Across CC to get to BB, and then also access CC. That's the access for that parcel also.
So there's room for parking and a decent road, so there's room
It's
to
a small
maneuver.
lot, it
and-
will have to be a designed structure that will fit. you know,
Is that
design use.
practical? Are they going to be able to find somebody to put a tiny structure on that?
I think it's not as tiny as you think. I think it'll be fine. There's different types of businesses that don't want to have a large structure, but just need some parking and could be drive-throughs, that kind of thing. whatever they decide to do. I don't think they have a current entity that wants to buy that yet.
Well, I just want to reiterate that there should be no access to this parcel BB by means of the frontage road.
We've made that clear.
Yep, okay. And we just want to say it again.
Yeah.
Anything further? Hearing none, roll call, Carla.
Kangas,
Yes.
Meyers.
Yes.
Rathe,
Yes.
Schneider,
Yes.
Beaufore,
Yes.
Birgen.
Yes.
Vote of 6-0 with 1 absent. Resolution 23-128 is approved. Item 5 is Resolution 23-129, a resolution approving a plat of survey for parcel MM located at 123 2nd Street Southwest, Waverly, Iowa. Entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve Resolution 23-129, a resolution approving a plat of survey for parcel MM located at 123 2nd Street Southwest to combine parcel ID 09021530007 and parcel 09021530008 into one lot for development.
Second.
Motion by Schneider, second by Kangas. Council discussion.
Just was wondering, is that then zoned for commercial development there or residential development?
This will be commercial development. It's zoned that way.
Okay. So it's going to be sold as one piece or developed as one piece of
Yes.
property?
It's treated that way now, so it's kind of interesting. It's not actually been redone this way, but they'll develop that entire section.
Hearing nothing further, roll call, Carla.
Meyers.
Yes.
Rathe,
Yes.
Schneider,
Yes.
Beaufore,
Yes.
Birgen,
Yes.
Kangas.
Yes.
Vote of 6-0 and 1 absent. Resolution 23-129 is approved. Item 6 is Resolution 23-130, resolution approving a legal retainer agreement with Napoli Schnallik, PLLC. What is it?
Stolen.
What Bill said, PLLC. Nobody wants to read it, I know.
I'm brave, I'll do it. I move approval of Resolution 23-130, a resolution approving a legal retainer agreement with Napoli Skolnick, PLLC, for the cost of 25% of the sum recovered, whether by suit, settlement, or otherwise, and in the event there is no recovery, the client, City of Waverly, shall not be obligated to pay the law firm a legal fee or disbursements for services rendered except certain expenses.
Second.
Motion by Rathe, second by Birgen. Council discussion.
Getting a little more
Background.
insight in here as to what this, I mean, I know what it is, but I kind of don't.
PFAs are the big talk right now in the water world. They're following up the lead controversy a while back, but they're finding them to be forever chemicals. They're in the water, and they're a broad spectrum. So you're talking many different types of chemicals underneath the one test that you do for these. So right now, the detection limits are really low. Right now, it's 2 parts per billion. So the tests are sent out. There's nothing we can do in-house, or they're sent out to, I think, or some other state, actually, the last one we did. So this is just to get ahead of things. This is recommended by the Iowa Rural Water Association. They're the ones that actually sent me the original literature on this. So I think it's something, if there's something comes of it, treatment is basically your only option if there's a high enough hit on one of your samples.
So I guess my questions were pretty basic. Are we testing for this now? Where do we stand when we do test? And does our new water treatment facility remove these?
So we do test for these now, what the EPA tells us to test for. So right now, we just tested 2 of our wells. One came back with a hit of 2.4 parts per trillion.
Per trillion or
Yeah,
billion?
Parts per trillion, sorry. So it's not enough to test anymore, if that makes sense. It's just on their radar if we're doing it. The other one tested fine. So they don't even know what they're gonna set the limits at. Currently, they have a beginning level, if you will, but they're still figuring everything out on these. So basically, we're compiling data for them to see actually how bad these issues are. And to answer your second part of the question, that's for WPC, are you talking?
Yeah.
There are some treatment processes that does remove these, so they're not in But yes, some still go through the plant. So it's hence the forever chemical. They just do not go away.
This is a Wall Street law firm that has already been making quite the name on settlements. It had one with 3M. I don't know if you heard about that one, so.
So
We're
we're doing this
talking-
in anticipation that if they are detected and there's a spike in cancer rates or something and people have litigation toward the city, that will be prepared. That's basically, okay.
So what we're talking about here is on the well side versus the byproduct side.
Yeah.
Right. All right, hearing nothing further, roll call, Carla.
Rathe,
Yes.
Schneider,
Yes.
Beaufore,
Yes.
Birgen,
Yes.
Kangas,
Yes.
Meyers.
Yes.
Vote is 6-0 and 1 absent. Resolution 23-130 is approved. Item 7 is the second reading of ordinance 1127, repealing portions 105.1 to 105.7 of Chapter 105 Traffic Code and replacing those portions with new sections 105.1 through 105.7.
I will move approval of the second reading of ordinance 1127, repealing portions, that is 105.1 through 105.7 of Chapter 105 Traffic Code and replacing those portions with new sections 105.1 through 105.7.
Second.
Motion by Birgen, second by Meyers. Council discussion. Hearing none, roll call, Carla.
Schneider,
Yes.
Beaufore,
Yes.
Birgen.
Yes.
Kangas.
Yes.
Meyers.
Yes.
Rathe.
Yes.
Vote of 6-0 and 1 absent. The second reading of ordinance 1127 is approved. Item 8 is the second reading of ordinance 1128, adopting various changes to Chapter 28, street closings for block parties of the Waverly Municipal Code of Ordinances. Entertain a motion.
I'll move approval of the second reading of ordinance 1128, adopting various changes to Chapter 88, street closings for block parties of the Waverly Municipal Code of Ordinances.
Second.
Motion by Meyers, second by Birgen. Council discussion. Hearing none, roll call, Carla.
Beaufore,
Yes.
Birgen.
Yes.
Kangas.
Yes.
Meyers.
Yes.
Rathe.
Yes.
Schneider.
Yes.
Vote is 6-0 and 1 absent. The second reading of ordinance 1128 is approved. Item 9 is the second reading of ordinance 1129, repealing Chapter 96, property tax exemption of the Waverly Municipal Code of Ordinances. Entertain a motion.
I'll move approval of the second reading of ordinance 1129, repealing Chapter 96, property tax exemption of the Waverly Municipal Code.
Second.
Motion by Rathe, second by Birgen. Council discussion on this one. Hearing none, roll call, Carla.
Birgen.
Yes.
Kangas.
Yes.
Meyers.
Yes.
Rathe.
Yes.
Schneider.
Yes.
Beaufort.
Yes.
Vote of 6-0 and 1 absent. The second reading of ordinance 1129 is approved. Item 10, second reading of ordinance 1130, replacing Chapter 50, beer and liquor permits of the Waverly Municipal Code of Ordinances with a new Chapter 50, retail alcohol licenses, wine and beer permits. Entertain a motion.
I will move approval of the second reading of ordinance 1130, replacing Chapter 50 beer and liquor permits of the Waverly Municipal Code of Ordinances with a new Chapter 30 retail alcohol licenses, wine and beer permits.
Second.
Motion by Birgen, second by Meyers. Council discussion, if any.
For anyone who's following at home, we're going through these quickly because this is the second reading. We've already had the first reading before and a first reading before that where we found changes. So that's why we're going through these so quickly, because we've been talking about this for a bit.
And the public hearings. Hearing nothing further, roll call, Carla.
Kangas.
Yes.
Meyers.
Yes.
Rathe.
Yes.
Schneider.
Yes.
Beaufort.
Yes.
Birgen.
Yes.
Vote is 6-0 and 1 absent. The second reading of ordinance 1130 is approved. Item 11 is resolution 23-132, a resolution accepting the Harlington Cemetery Monument Restoration Project. Phase number 4 is complete and approving the final pay requests. Entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve Resolution 23-132, a resolution accepting the Harlington Cemetery Monument Restoration Project. Phase number 4 is complete and approving final pay request to Mehmen Monument Company, Waverly, Iowa, for the amount of $4,050.
Second.
Motion by Schneider, second by Rathe. Council discussion.
I would like to thank Garrett for getting this done. I think this is something that really I know we've been working on this for a couple of years, restoring some of the broken headstones and keeping the headstone, the really old ones, so they're legible and keeping them in good shape. And I think this is a good use of his time and effort.
Thank you.
They really turned out well.
Yeah. Well, and this is what, phase 4, so this is the 4th year that we're doing this?
A couple of the phases kind of ran together.
Okay.
We actually just sent out bids for phase number 5, which
Okay.
is going to be, I believe we've got 21 stones on it.
Okay.
We're looking for bids to be back in a couple of weeks for this work to be completed here in the fall.
Do you anticipate this program having to be done in perpetuity or for a while to,
Yeah, I
unless we
mean,
stop dying?
So where we are right now is obviously all the old section. These final 20 are all in block 6. It's really tough to get a read on how many that we still have left to do, because, I mean, as you go out, there's something wrong with each one of them in the old section is what it kind of comes down to. Some are just more major than others. But yeah, I mean, I see it being an ongoing process for each year. I mean, right now, we're budgeting about between $5,000 and $6,000 per year to do 30. It is what it amounts to.
And it looked like some of them just needed their bases reset, but some of them were, totally toppled over into the ground and,
Correct, yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot that is just the base, but they need to be dug up, and some just have stone put back under them, some of them have concrete actually poured in.
that's nice. I didn't know he was gonna clean them too, so that looked good.
All right. Hearing nothing further, roll call, Carla.
Kangas,
Yes.
Meyers,
Yes.
Rathe.
Yes.
Schneider,
Yes.
Beaufore,
Yes.
Birgen.
Yes.
Vote is 6-0 and 1 absent. Resolution 23-132 is approved. Item 12 is a discussion-only point for the UTV, ORV, and ATV usage within city limits. I know this was brought forth by, I believe, Ms. Beaufort and Mr. Schneider for some further discussion, so I'll let either of them or whoever wants to lead the discussion off.
Well, I guess my thoughts are pretty simple on this. I think we need to align, well, first, we've had requests from residents on this, and I think we should align with what the state's doing. So that's why I think we need to consider this.
What are we considering? I mean, we need to consider,
I think the original topic was brought up by somebody speaking about four-wheelers that are like saddle-ridden.
ATVs in addition
ATVs,
to the old
right.
UTVs and BPC and NBC.
So what's the current position of the state or county regarding that?
If you offhand, Rich, I haven't followed what ATVs have been looked at. They're not as common as you'd think. They're more UTVs now, so I don't know what the state law was on the ATVs.
Yeah, we allow ORVs and ATVs on 2-lane roadways and below.
Same restrictions, not on the highways, but on county roads and.
That's right.
So when we discussed the UTVs last year, if I recall correctly, we talked quite a bit about how that's defined. And I have to confess, I'm still confused. I got the UTVs down, but with ATVs, I was told, I thought that was like a three-wheeler with a saddle type seat, but I was told they don't make those anymore, that now they're four-wheelers?
You'll see a few older ones around it, mostly with 4 wheels, but you still straddle.
So can you enlighten us about safety concerns, if there are any, or differences between how that is compared to a UTV?
Well, I guess I'll summarize by, when we talk about the ORVs, which is, I know we use UTV a lot, but ORV is what the state recognizes. I don't know if there's a change in making it to a utility vehicle to make it seem less off-road, but the state of Iowa defines it as ORVs and ATVs. And an ORV, when we talked about this last time, I presented kind of a detailed packet of my resistance to it. And my concern to that, we'll go over to the ATVs as well, is that there is no manufacturer statement of origin that state that they are produced by the manufacturer to be operated on the roadway. And so I found it hard to recommend the approval of a vehicle to be put on the roadways when those that make it say that they shouldn't be on the roadway. If you look at any of the manufactured manuals, within the top 10 restrictions or safety guidelines, you'll say it'll either be do not operate on a paved roadway or do not operate on a public roadway. I would challenge anybody to find one that doesn't say that. So the difference between an ORV and an ATV basically is that the ORV is a bench style seat and the ATV is a straddle.
A lot of the ORVs kind of have a cage or something with them too, versus the ATVs typically don't have a lot of caging or.
Yeah, and I know one of the advantages that I know council talked about was that ORVs have seatbelts. That was one of the enhanced reasons to allow an ORV, and you define the difference between the ORV and an ATV. That was one of the reasons.
So ATVs do not have seatbelts, correct?
Correct.
Do they have other safety features like the ones that we enumerated for the ORVs?
You'll probably find them, the ability to have tail lights, turn signals, horn.
Is there any sort of helmet requirement in Iowa for ATVs? And so they can ride them, even though they're not manufactured for roadway use, the state has said that they can drive them on all highways?
On 2-lane or below, yes.
And what's their maximum speed?
45.
Okay.
So what we seem to hear from proponents of this is that we see the ORVs, we see the golf carts, we see the mopeds. So why not ATVs also? And I guess I struggle because there's logic in that, but I struggle that if it's not safe to begin with, why would we make more things not safe? I don't have an answer to that. I just,
I mean,
I guess-
mopeds are designed to be driven on the road. Motorcycles are designed to be driven on the road.
Yeah.
Is there anything in the legislation about it that says that a city cannot prohibit them?
Well, we have, the cities are allowed to prohibit them,
Okay.
yes.
Would the city,
For roadways under our jurisdiction. Yeah.
would the city be allowed to not allow mopeds?
No.
So the argument that if we allow mopeds, we should allow these doesn't really apply because we couldn't not allow we couldn't make mopeds illegal if we wanted to.
Correct.
I mean, I have to say my biggest issue is I don't really feel like when I see ORVs being operated around town, I don't feel like they're being operated safely. I know, I mean, we talk about seat belts. Right here in the operation, it says passengers have to be able to sit with their feet on the floor. I see 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds riding around in ORVs, you know, not meeting the safety requirements. So, you know, the idea that, you know, if we're operating ORVs, we should be able to use ATVs, you know, I don't want to see people riding ATVs around town with a 3-year-old on their lap, because that does not seem safe. And, you know, the moped argument just doesn't hold water with me anymore. So,
I'm participated in bringing this up because I think everything should be up for conversation, for everybody to have a conversation, so, and bring up ideas about it. I personally do not feel like ATVs are the best to be on the roadways either. I don't like ATVs, period. I've seen a lot of trauma with ATV usage, especially when it comes to young kids on it, driving it off-road, let alone having people drive down the street 25, 35, 45 miles per hour. I know that there are some people that, you know, will be very compliant, and but there are also a lot of people that are not. The UTVs, I have not seen any issues with the UTVs. I have seen issues with golf carts and with children literally hanging off golf carts all around town. I've seen issues with golf carts driving down the sidewalk, you know, and it's, golf carts to me are pretty much the same as the ATV. There's no seat belts, stuff like that. So, you know, if we're having golf carts also on our streets, it's not really, I mean, I guess it's a little bit different because you straddle the ATV, not sit on a bench. But that's the only difference in a golf cart and an ATV. So, I'm not for a golf cart with children hanging off the side, driving down the street going 25 miles per hour, nor am I an ATV.
I was in favor of the UTV allowing them to drive since we do allow the golf carts, and that was kind of the balance. On ATVs, I do have a little more of an issue with because they tend to be, I guess, to me, they're more, I don't know, sporty or kind of off-road type of jumping and racing type of a thing versus the UTVs seem to be more hauling stuff or even landscaping and stuff can be more practical that way versus the ATVs, which really are more of a fun type of, you know, like having a snowmobile in the wintertime. You're not out there working with them as much. But I would say, I don't know, maybe I'm getting old, but I saw this summer, I was at Fort Queens coming through the drive-through and saw a UTV coming across on First Street going south, and there was father holding his baby in his lap on the front, maybe a 4 or 5 year old sitting next to him, and mom sitting with another baby in the back seat on her lap. So there was, I'm just looking at that going, that family's gone if there's a collision. And so, I don't know, maybe I'm getting old and panicking a little bit when I see something like that, but that was a little bit hair-raising for me. But yeah, I would not necessarily favor the adding ATVs right now.
Any further discussion? Anyone? And give any insight as far as further discussion to just an email to James, perhaps? Let this kind of settle unless there's a decision at this point in time, but.
Well, I don't see anything by consensus to
Right.
bring it forward to add it, so unless that changes or if once we brought back again, it'll be a dead issue at this point in time.
Right.
Unless you want to get rid of all of them, because that'll solve your problems and what you're seeing out there. There is bad behavior in all of them, whether it's mopeds or golf carts or UTVs. I mean, I've talked to Garrett, we see it all over the place. They drive through the parks, they drive through, I mean, it's god awful sometimes.
Yeah.
Just because you don't see it doesn't mean they're not doing it. We see the tracks, we see the people in it, we have film of it. It's ridiculous. So my pitch would be get rid of all of it. Golf carts, UTVs, ATVs, all of it. But that's why you're the council and I take direction from you. So at this point, ATVs are dead, in my opinion. We will not bring it back.
Okay. All right. Brings us forward to item 13, approval of mayoral appointments. Approve the mayoral appointment of Jamie Schroeder Batker to the Board of Appeals to fill a vacancy for a term expiring on January 1st, 2028. Entertain a motion.
Move approval of the mayoral appointment.
Second.
Motion by Kangas, second by Meyers. Council discussion, if any. Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. Section J, reports from boards and commission. Item number 1, monthly financials of July 23. Item 2 is Human Equity and Diversity Commission minutes of June 13th, 23. Item 3 is Planning and Zoning Commission minutes of July 6th, 23. Item 4 is Human Equity and Diversity Commission minutes of July 11th, 23. Item 5 is the Municipal Airport Commission minutes of July 13th, 2023. All received into the record. Brings us to Section K for staff updates.
I think we have a brief update, sir.
Perfect.
Pool is closed. Last day was on Saturday, so just in time for the heat wave, of course. But with colleges starting back up and obviously school this week, we just don't have any staff left. So there we go, another good pool season.
For those that didn't see it, or a reminder for those that did, tomorrow night is a Bremer County 911 Service Board open house informational meeting in reference to interoperability for the state moving forward and what potential options we may have. And that is 6:30 at the City Hall.
Thank you, sir.
That's all we have tonight, sir.
All right. Just want to publicly thank the pool staff for sticking it out a year. I know getting people to show up for work, getting staff initially, and having it open as frequently as possible is a big challenge. So I want to just thank them.
Thank you. Yeah, we were actually very fortunate this year with a good number of staff and a very good staff. So, yep, thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. Brings us forward to city council comments. Ms. Meyers.
School starts this week, so watch out for kids and buses, and let's support our school staff and administration.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Birgen.
I would like to point out that with the excessive heat that we have coming up in the next couple of days, if you're in need of a cool place to go in the heat of the day, you might consider our public library, which is open and air conditioned and has lots of good things that you can do there. They have computers that you can check out. They've got board games you can check out. They've got current newspapers. They've got books. So if you need some place to go cool off, consider the public library. And anyone who would like to discuss city council business, you can join me for a beer at the poorhouse.
They've even got old newspaper archives.
They do.
So if you
Got
don't
all
want
kinds of
current
cool
stuff. Mr. Schneider.
I've got nothing.
All right. Rathe, Gopher.
12 days and counting till open the football game versus Monmouth. In case you're not watching, Wartburg is ranked 5th in the country, Division III football. So we welcome all of you to come join us at Walston Hoover Stadium, Saturday, September 2nd at 7 p.m.
It's also move-in day.
Yes, sir, it is.
Right.
That's correct. It will be a busy weekend. I
Yes.
guess.
You've been working out, getting, okay, good deal. We'll see.
The president mostly directs people.
No, not her. I see pictures. They might have been posed, but okay. Thank you, Mr. Kangas.
I was just going to comment on school starting. That was why I was tardy tonight. I have back to school night for me, meeting kids and parents tonight as far as that. And just a reminder, as Ms. Meyers mentioned, the buses, that stop sign when a bus is stopped is not a suggestion.
And they have cameras to check you out.
If you
Stop.
if you treat it as a suggestion, you will find your shoes very handy.
Can I add on East Bremer and going on Highway 3, you cannot pass even though
Either
there's
way on
nobody
the
on the
highway.
other, there's
Yep.
no houses on the other side. You cannot pass. If a school bus is stopped, you have to stop in both directions.
Yes. Yep. I don't believe there is a place in our school district where the stop arm is out that you can pass, where we actually have a stop. So, to the best of my knowledge, if you see the bus with the red flashing light, stop. And you won't be at fault if you stop when you don't have to. Better to be safe than walking, let's put it that way. For me, 1 week ago tomorrow, James delivered the oath to our new officer, Officer Kaufman, with the police department. So just want to publicly welcome him to our community. And with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion by Schneider, second by Kangas. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.